Hey guys, what's up? Stock Retail coming back to you. A little bit of a different video today. We're going to walk through a calculator on exactly how many shares are you getting through this reverse split conversion and the settlement. I'm getting a lot of questions on Twitter, or a couple people have corrected me and said, hey, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. So whether you want to call it Twitter or X or whatever, I'm getting a lot of questions there. They're very consistent, and so I'm just going to actually put a calculator in your hands. Now, I did do a video back in May. So I'm kind of showing you the screenshot of what that video looks like. You can see it's from May 2nd. That video has screenshots of sort of the documentation that AMC had published that proves kind of this is how the reverse split and the settlement and all of that is going to work. So if you want, it also has a walkthrough that's going to show this same math. But a lot of people have kind of still, even seeing that walkthrough, had some questions. And so we're going to talk through, and I'm going to give you, think of this as in some ways, kind of a how-to YouTube. I built my kids a playhouse once, and boy, YouTube helped me, basically with carpentry and all kinds of trigonometry to figure out the angles of cuts I needed to make and stuff like that. So we're going to use YouTube that way today. I'm going to show you how, if you wanted to, you could build your own calculator to figure out how many shares you're going to have. Otherwise, like I said, go watch that video. That'll have the source, screenshots from the document that shows you this is how it's going to work, so that we kind of don't have some trust me bros. I'm going to just walk through this now and kind of show you sort of how what the formulas are doing, and then I'm going to show you that with the actual numbers at the bottom. All right, so you're going to need these two rows, one for AMC, one for ape. I've given you the titles up here so you can see what I'm doing. And so first off, you just plug in however many shares you have of each. All right, so let's just pretend you had, I don't know, 162 shares of AMC. So you just type that in, and like 171 shares of ape or something. Type that in. Okay, the next thing you need to do, pretty simple. We're just going to divide those by 10. So you know that the reverse split is a 10 to 1. We divide by 10. But notice at the bottom here, I've given you some decimals or some fractions. Now, if you were to go watch that other video, you'll see I've sourced from the documents. They're not going to pay out fractional shares, so we need to deal with that. So here's our next formula. The actual reverse split shares you're going to get, there's a formula. Can you see here? It says trunk. Truncate means to kind of cut off. We're going to just show the whole number. So notice this formula. In this case, it's looking at cell C9 up here for you, because I assume you'll, kind of type at the top of whether you're in like Google Sheets or Numbers on a Mac or Microsoft Excel or just whatever you like to use. This is how we're going to do it. So here I've said trunk C2, that would be this cell. Down here, I'm just showing you, I just took my raw number and I truncated it, and it's just this formula, equals trunk and then parentheses and your cell. So notice now it's saying just this, a whole number of 16, but we don't want to lose our fractions because, again, I sourced in that video, you're going to get paid cash for any fractional shares. So we got to figure out how much is that. So here's our formula. All we do is we just subtract the two. So we had our raw number, we're going to minus out our truncated number, and we're going to get this 0.2. By the way, I'm not like reading all these formulas because I assume you could go ahead and pause this YouTube and you can read it there. But so you can just see this formula is simple. I just said C minus D, or the raw shares minus the whole number. That gives us our fraction left over. We're going to remember that at the end. We're going to add up all our fractions, because what you're going to be able to do is figure out how much cash am I also getting. I'm getting shares and I'm getting cash if I have fractions. I'm also, before the end of this video, going to tell you how to avoid fractions if you don't want to do that. So hang in there. All right, so settlement shares, raw, so same thing. So after, if you don't know, again, go watch that video. I walk through it all. I show you sources, screenshots of the documents. The settlement is after the reverse split. I get that question a lot. It's after. So we have to have divided our number by 10 first. And it's after removing fractions. So then we have to have turned it into a whole number. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide... in fact, I don't know if I fixed this because I had to change one thing for you before. I actually filmed this once and posted it, then realized I had missed something, so I changed it. All right, so we're going to divide our whole number, only our whole number. So let me just type this in for you. Our formula is, where do we go? This case, it's going to be D2 divided by 7.5. Okay, and you see that in kind of Excel and Numbers and things like that, whatever sort of spreadsheet you're using, divide is that forward slash. So if you're really unfamiliar with spreadsheets, I've just told you. So what we've done is we've taken our, and it's always easy, you just type this equal sign. We say we're going to divide our whole number, because we don't have any fractions, divided by 7.5. So you notice that's post-reverse split, and I'm getting this 2.133 settlement shares. But again, we don't have fractions. So again, we're going to take that number and we're going to truncate it. All right, so we're going to say, and just watch how we do this. We just say equals. I'm going to type trunc, okay? And then I'm going to, I do that parentheses. I select my number I want to truncate, do that parentheses again. Boom, now I've got a nice whole number too. But I don't want to lose my fractions, because I want to know how much cash I'm getting paid. That's part of your settlement. You're going to get paid the cash on any fractions. So we take our whole number, we take our raw number minus our whole number. So you can see here, that's another one I didn't fix from the first time I filmed this. So that's going to be our settlement shares raw, which was column F, minus our actual settlement shares, our whole number, which is column G. Okay, so that's actually F minus G there. Let's get that right, which we've done down here, right? So you can see F minus G. And just make sure you're on the right row. We're only getting settlement shares for AMC, no settlement shares for ape. That's why I haven't done this for ape down here. Again, that's all in that other video. Okay, so our final shares. We're just going to take our settlement shares from AMC. We're going to add those, and remember, just the whole number. We're going to add those to our reverse split shares from AMC. Again, just the whole number. So you can see we've done that here. So in this case, we're taking column D plus column G, okay? That's my AMC shares I'm landing with in the end. And we're going to add our two fractions, right? So we're going to take column H, we're going to add it to column E. It says that up here. Let me make that bigger so you can see it. Boom. So we're going to add up our fractions. So in the end, your settlement and reverse split on AMC, you're going to get your shares and you're going to get cash. Now remember, this fraction we're showing is post-reverse split. So that is like 10 times that in AMC shares today. So in this case, if you had 162 AMC shares today, you're going to get paid what's the equivalent of 3.3 of those in cash. 3.3 AMC shares today, just take your price times 3.3. That's how much cash you're going to get. Or if you want to do it as these fractions, this 0.333 times today's price, basically times 10, right? Because we're post-reverse split. So you're going to have to guess what price it's going to land on. I'm not showing that here. Excuse me. I don't name prices on this channel. I suppose every once in a while, if I get back into charting, I used to do more of that. But generally, I don't name prices. I don't name dates here. I believe Hedgie uses that against us. So just decide what price you think that's going to be at, but you will get paid cash on those fractions. So then ape, and this is the reason I had to refilm it. I hadn't shown you fractions on the first version I made of this. Same thing. We're going to just do all the same things, except we're going to skip all the math on the settlement. So you're going to take whatever shares you have, and I'll even just change this so you can see this would change on the fly if you make this calculator for yourself. Let's say we own 222 ape. Okay, so we divide by 10 for our reverse split, right? So, and you can just see equals ape shares divided by 10. Even if you've never done Excel, I promise you can do this. All you do is type equals, I even just did an arrow, my arrow on my key to get over there, divided by 10. I could have clicked it. Boom, I get my 22.2, and you can see we did that trunk, so I'm just going to show that one more time. Equals trunk, parentheses, select that cell, end your parentheses, boom, it does it for us. So this is all very easy for you. You could have this calculator in your hands. I would post it, but I know just for cybersecurity reasons, a lot of people don't like to click links to documents, so I'm just showing you how to build it for yourself. All right, so then we have our math on our fractions on our ape. So remember, fractions will get paid out. So then we've got all of that over here. Again, you could pause this and read how to do this. This is basically like a little cheat sheet on how to build this whole thing. And then we're going to add up all of our, what is that adding to that? Equals that plus that. Oh, this is rounding. Here we go. Let me give me some decimals. There we go. Just make sure you're showing decimals so it doesn't round. Okay, so it's just really important to know that you're going to get paid out. Fractions will get paid out as cash. You will not have any fractional shares on both the reverse split and on the settlement. Remember, the settlement is after the reverse split and it's only on AMC. and everything gets combined in the end. You'll have a final number. If you don't want fractions, for ape, you need buckets of 10. I've called it lots of 10. So notice how I turned this to 10, I got no fractions. If I had 20, no fractions. If I had 30, and so the calculator is going to show that to you. On AMC, it's 150s. Because think about if I had, say, well, let's say I had 10. So I get a nice clean number on the reverse split, but whoops, my settlement number ended up giving me fractions. So you could say, well, okay, 75, right? Because it's 1 to 7.5 post-split. Well, I'm still going to end up with fractions. Why? Because of the reverse split. I got rid of this fraction on the reverse split. And then notice what happened. I actually don't get any shares on the settlement. I got a fraction again because I lost my fraction in the reverse split. That 75 did not turn into 7.5. It turned into 7. Okay, so that's one thing I've seen people get hung up on too. So in AMC, you actually got to have 150s because you have to consider the dividing by 10, and then you have to consider the dividing by 7.5. So just super simple. I'll just say it simpler if all of that kind of went over your head. If you don't want fractional shares, in APE, make sure you're in 10s. In AMC, make sure you're in 150s. I said in the other video, I don't personally feel anyone needs to get hung up on fractions. No one's doing anything wrong. You're not helping Shorty, in my opinion. You'll get the cash. You're going to be made whole. Everything's going to be fine. But I also understand and I respect that some of us, I've been here since really December of 2020. I've really been an ape since late January of 2021. It's emotional. We've been in this a long time. We've fought very hard. So some of us don't want to see shares get taken from us. That's the feeling of it, I suppose. And so, pardon me, if you don't want to see fractions and you don't want to see those paid out as cash, you need to own in buckets of 150 in AMC or 10 in APE. But I just really know that some will, perhaps not have the finances to do that. And so I just really hope you don't stress out about that and own what you can own, right? That's the whole point of being an ape. All people equal. Hold what you can hold, own what you can own, but we hang in there together. All right, so I am super excited about this settlement and reverse split and conversion. You're going to get trolled a ton on it. People are going to say reverse splits are always bad for stocks, but I had done some research in another video where I kind of talked about, I found a stock filter. I looked at the history of companies with improving fundamentals. Bingo, that's us. In improving industries, bingo, that's us. And basically the history of reverse splits on those type of companies. Oh, and not on OTC stocks. Don't look at small biotech and OTC stocks. Look at bigger companies, mid cap, large cap. Bingo, again, that's us. The history of reverse splits on those is much, much, much more positive. That doesn't mean I can make a prediction here, but past data at least says you're being trolled about reverse splits and how those go, because you're seeing reverse splits mostly on companies that are really flailing. They're struggling for cash. They don't have revenue flows. This is not AMC. AMC has improved its fundamentals and now has access to capital, and that is why I'm so excited and why Shorty should be scared. Shorty's making a bet that AMC is going to run out of cash. Well, AMC now has access to like 10 times the cash it could ever need. So big, 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 big deal. And I wanted to put this calculator in your hands. Let's go see movies, guys. Let's go.